What's up? It's Frano here. I'm gonna make a video while I'm eating breakfast because I've been fasting and it's 11:15 in the morning now. So I haven't eaten since 8:30 or about 8 last night. So that's 8 is 12, another 3. It's about 15-16 hours of fasting, so I'm very hungry. And I'm only a skinny thoroughbred myself, so I need to eat. But yeah, I'm going to talk about. I've got meditation music on as well because there might be some background noise that I'm trying to avoid. So I'm going to talk a little bit about change and momentum. So, okay, basically, you need to accept that no matter who you are and how old you are and how corrupted you are and all this, anyone and everyone can change. So that's the first thing you need to carry into your life. You can't, because if you start expecting something of someone all the time because that's the way they've been, even if they've been like that for like 5-10 years, you're already limiting their potential of changing because you're putting that out there that it's going to do the same thing or this and that, and then you're going to be talking about them perhaps behind their back. He's always the same, he does the same thing. And there's no doubt that's going to probably be the result in the universe. But if you start accepting change, you can begin to also guide the process of change. So yeah, I got my porridge here, oats with some banana, organic banana, some hemp seeds, some cacao, some good stuff. But yeah, so that's change. Momentum's also very important because there are periods in our life where it's like the movie Click with Jim Carrey when he's in like autopilot for a lot of the time. There's times in our life, especially probably in winter and stuff, where you're a bit more tired all the time, going through the motions. You might still be kind of awake and in the moment still, mindful, but you might not have quite as much energy. So it's not like you're on autopilot, it's just a bit less energy. But the point I'm making is we need to try and get positive momentum and keep it flowing and keep moving up, because otherwise we're gonna just keep falling back on ourselves, and obviously we don't want that. So anyway, the practices I mean are things like doing things you like, keeping a diary, keeping a dream journal, meditation obviously, being around positive people, but also having a positive outlook as well. Because a lot of people, they don't like their job, but they force themselves to get into a positive outlook and enjoy it, and they find ways of enjoying it, and then the light from within them goes around, and obviously, or perhaps it's a light from someone else that works with them that inspires them just to get over that negativity, and the more people we can kind of like light up in this way and get the community going, happier you're going to be. So yeah, dream journal, diet, exercise, all these things. We need to work on our minds and our bodies and our, cleansing our souls as well. But the big thing is the big thing we need to understand is that some people are lucky and they only have like these minor kind of programs, and so for example you could have minor ego programs, so small level ego programs such as a gambling addiction, an alcohol problem where you feel like well, you don't feel like, but other people notice that when you're drinking you think you're a lot better than everyone else, or you have a false sense of reality. That's a problem. Or you're dreaming. A lot of people, they're dreamers. They love to dream, they love to think, but they don't go out and set goals to achieve these dreams that they've always wanted. So that's three minor problems surrounding the ego. That's just the ego alone. There's other minor programs that can mess up other elements of your life, but I'm gonna Stick to that. And I'm going to talk about major uh, past or particularly if you're really spiritual and you believe in reincarnation, you could even say past life trauma. So people get trauma from childhood. Childhood's the big one, where a lot of people, they're messed up for pretty much their whole life, or maybe their whole life if they've had childhood trauma. So luckily enough I haven't, but there are many individuals, and you'll notice if you begin to connect with them, they'll open up and say how they've had abusive parents, or been raped, or neglected. And quite often the sad thing is that they begin to treat others in such a way in which they were treated, which is kind of like, it's the cycle that's been made on them. It's cycling now and it's coming out. It's almost like they're receiving it and they're reiterating it. It's like eating food and then puking it out again. It's not good, but a lot of people they don't know how to deal with themselves, to deal with their past trauma. So being someone that can listen, you don't even necessarily have to empathize, but if you can listen to someone and you can connect with them a little bit, and you realize this person's actually, he's got some past trauma and I can relate to him and maybe help heal that, help get rid of that negative energy, and help them, give them steps or some kind of just being there is the main thing. Because a lot of people, they might have past trauma, and it's sad to know that there's not a lot of people that like to listen to them, because it's like, oh, that's that guy, that's Dave, all he does is go on about his childhood, Dave, and he's always negative. Or he might not even say anything, but he's always negative. We don't know why. We don't know why, because you're only labeling him as Dave the negative person, as opposed to actually trying to get beneath the surface a little bit with him in a good way, and listen to the cause, the root of these problems. If you can't get to the root cause, you're not gonna. It's like getting cancer. You can't remove that cancer unless you go deep within. So that's something to think about. And I know a lot of people with spiritual communities, not even necessarily just spiritual, but I would say spiritual, in particular, they have this system of knowledge, beliefs that they have, like religion, but on a much smaller scale, and they don't want to allow anyone to join their community. They don't want to spread the knowledge and beliefs to that many people, and they want to keep, say for example, a handful of people. So if you're limiting yourself to just a handful of people, you're cutting yourself off. You're disconnecting from a massive diversity of cultures and people and beliefs and ethnicities and societal classes, and you're actually cutting yourself. You're doing yourself wrong, because you can't grow if you're only in a limited amount. If you're in a limited amount of ideologies and views, you're going to limit your growth as well. So that's why I think spiritual discipline is good, but this is like sugary drink I've liked since I was a kid, but spiritual discipline is good, but you also need to be able to have social, you need to be able to go and have a party, you know what I mean? You need to be able to go and be with 20 or 30 people in a house or in an environment where you can relate to many people, and you should do that regularly. You should not isolate yourself all the time. You should always look for every now and again you should look for large kind of scale connections where you can where everyone can kind of like raise their vibrations together. It's not about just personal growth and small amount of people growing. We want society to grow. So take that into your daily job. Take that into your exchanges when you're walking down the street. See an old lady, say hello, how are you doing today? Just be polite. Remember, respect and honour. These are things that are dying these days in the Western world. Just being polite. How are you doing? People like to look down, they like to be on their phone, they like to focus on where they're going, but they're not going anywhere. They're not gonna escape this matrix unless they begin to realize that love, we need to all do this together. We're all here together. At this moment, anyone that's alive, any human being or being at all that's alive right now, that's the one thing we have in common. But if you get beneath the surface, you realize there's many more things that we have in common. So it doesn't matter who you are, if you've had past trauma, past programming, if you really can relate to anyone on this planet, whether you hate them at first or not, whether that they're trying to inflict all this negativity on you, if you can just be patient enough and understanding enough to get to know them, then I'm sure that that's like a skill that you don't put it on your resume, but that's a high level skill that you can carry forward, not just in this life, in the next maybe. So to be enduring as well, that's kind of one way of saying. So I'm going to finish my breakfast. Yeah, I'm going to leave it on find diversity and just love diversity. So that's the message of this video. So peace in and out, high vibrations, gratitude, full love.